It was the fall of 2018 when I realized I had been found out. My CEO and manager invited me to what I thought was a casual check-in at one of my favorite coffee shops, clever. I was in a new leadership position within the organization, overseeing mental health initiatives, work that I cared so deeply about. But as I sat there with my latte in my hand, I realized this wasn't just a check-in. No, this was a pause that held up a mirror, and parts of what I had been avoiding came into view. See, they saw what I was trying to hide behind the polished presentations, the full calendar, the convincing smile that I'm fine. But I was actually losing myself in the pursuit of proving myself. You see, on the outside, I looked bold and I was driven, I was successful. But underneath it all, I was unraveling. I had built an identity, a career around serving others, and yet somehow, somewhere in the process of all of that, I stopped tending to the parts of me that needed care also. The conversation with my CEO and manager didn't come to this dramatic aha moment. Oh, no. It came to something slower, something deeper, a soul-level realization that I wasn't living well. I was performing it. And what happened after that was unexpected and, quite frankly, uncomfortable. It was a diagnosis of adjustment disorder. What? I had to Google that. Anxiety, generalized anxiety and depression. And my therapist and doctor told me that I was experiencing symptoms of burnout. But how could I, a professional, succumb to the very thing that I had cautioned my students to avoid? And my employer offered time off, a space to rest, to reflect, and to heal. You know, it was a gift of pause. And at first, I didn't know how to receive that gift, because when your self-worth is so tightly attached to productivity, pausing can feel like failure. And that's exactly how I felt. You know, my identity was wrapped up in my career. My purpose was my work. And so when that ended, I wasn't just losing a job, I was losing my sense of purpose. And so in the depth of that season, I struggled. But I still said yes to the gift. And in those early days of healing, I did something that I had long encouraged my clients to do. I went to therapy. I went ashamed. You know, I would appreciate the days, rainy days on therapy days, because I would hide underneath my hood and umbrella, and I would duck in and out of my therapist's office, hoping to be unnoticed. You see, I even had a story to tell in case someone stopped and asked, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm just gathering resources for my clients." And so even in my early days of healing, I was still performing. And it took some time to see that I wasn't just attending therapy. I was learning to tell myself the truth. And that truth didn't come by doing more and striving. It came from being still long enough to listen. And therapy gave me that space to pause, to let go of the story that I had curated and presented to the world. And finally, it gave me that space to listen to the story that my soul had been trying to tell me all along. The pause was not to fix myself, it was to face myself. And that's when the breakthrough began. That's when Life Out Loud was actually conceived. And so here's what I know now, is that wellness doesn't come from pushing harder or always striving it. No, it comes from slowing down long enough to listen. to listen to your body, to listen to your soul, to listen to your life. And what I've learned is that healing isn't simply about fixing what's broken. No, it's about creating that space for restoration to take place. And restoration happens in relationship when we're met with compassion, when we're met with grace and love, when we're truly seen, heard, known in the process and not in perfection. And the truth of the matter is, and by the grace of God, I am still healing. And maybe that's the point. Healing isn't this race to the finish line. It's a surrender. It's a daily letting go of what no longer serves who we're becoming. The identities, the thoughts, the habits that once helped us survive that now hold us back. So that grace can do what striving could never. So if you're stretched thin, or if you're standing at the edge of burnout, maybe your breakthrough isn't in doing more. Maybe it's in being someone radical, someone who leads and lives and rests differently in a culture that is obsessed with productivity, with information and noise. Maybe it's in the gift of pause, where noise and distraction can fall away, where clarity lives and healing begins, and where our truest self is waiting to be welcomed home. What if our next act of leadership isn't about output, but it's about alignment and the courage to slow down and lead from a place of peace and not pressure, from rest and not rush? What if our most radical decision in this season of our lives is to rest before reaching the breaking point? Because the pause doesn't pull us away from purpose. It brings us back to it. Thank you.